Good morning. Saturday was not an ideal game to watch. They won, which is huge. They won. They avoided the big upset game. They avoided what everyone would have said. Oh, they looked ahead. Even I said it early on in the game. I was like, man, they were looking ahead to Miami and they tripped and fell right into an upset alert. And it kind of felt that way. You know, my emotion, I get real emotional when I watch these games. I'm like Mr. Doom and Gloom. Like when they start playing bad and they fall down 7-0, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like they're going to blow the entire season by losing to a 2-6 Pittsburgh team on the road. This is terrible, blah, 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 because I live in Florida, so I got Gator friends, I got Miami friends, and all we do is talk trash to each other and jab back and forth, and your mind just starts going like, oh my gosh, we're never going to hear the end of it from those guys. But they didn't. So that being said, that's awesome they won. The big plays of the game were Ventrell Cypress hawking that kid down and getting the fumble, and then recovering it in the end zone. Ja'Kai Douglas had a couple huge plays. And just overall, the defense is why we won. Pittsburgh went 0 for 10 on third down conversions. We held them to 7 points. That was awesome. The defense played great. Our front four really affected their offensive line a lot. We held them to under 100 yards rushing. And that's how you win. You don't allow a ton of big plays. We allowed a couple big plays, but we didn't allow a ton. We didn't commit a bunch of penalties, so we stayed out of our own way. And we just controlled the line of scrimmage, so it was everything it needed to be. Now on to the offense. That's what happens when you're missing 2 NFL receivers, one of which is your punt return man. So I don't know if you paid attention to the first halves, but anyone who did, Keon Coleman's been huge for us because he gets underneath and catches every punt. He's really good at judging him. Ja'Kai Douglas, although he didn't muff any, he wasn't a glaring weakness there, but he wasn't a strength. He lets the ball bounce. The ball was taking a couple yards hop. It was moving an extra, 10 to 15 yards off of a bounce. We lost a lot of hidden yardage that doesn't show up in the stat sheet because Ja'Kai Douglas wasn't getting under these punts. He was a nervous and too safe of a return man. So special teams wasn't what it needed to be because we didn't have Keon Coleman. Deuce Spann was out, so we didn't have him at kick return. Not that there would have been a lot of kick returns. You got one from either the I think we got one at the beginning of the game, and then we got one after their touchdown. So Pitt didn't really score a lot, so not having Deuce Spann back there returning kicks was, it was irrelevant. But not having Deuce Spann as a wide receiver available, so your wide receivers that weren't available was Deuce Spann, Johnny Wilson, Hakeem Williams, and Keon Coleman. So those are a lot of really fast, open field playmakers that can do big things for us. Kentron Portier was not 100%, and neither was Destin Hill. So your only healthy receivers was Ja'Kai Douglas and Darion Williamson. And then Vendravius Jacobs is a really promising young freshman, and when he got in the game, he got the helmet to helmet, he gets knocked out of the game. So you're essentially down to 2 tight ends that you're playing with. You got Kentron that you're throwing to, and then you got Darion. But then Ja'Kai, who's normally a slot guy, you had him playing one of the outside positions. So it was just, the offense did a good job of not vomiting all over themselves. They ran the ball pretty well. Jordan threw the ball for 360 yards. It was a good game for what it was. I watched the first half at home. I got called into work. I work in the propane industry, and I got called in for a couple of out-of-gas situations, so I had to watch the second half from my phone. I went back and rewatched the game yesterday after church. I went home and, was able to find, I think they were replaying on the ACC network, and that's where I watched it at. But the game was... It's what it needed to be. We wore them down. That's like the identity of this team. They play 4 quarters of football. They play really hard, and they don't panic. Thank God I'm not a coach. I would panic and start saying we got to change the game plan after the first quarter. But Mike Norvell doesn't do that. Mike Norvell sticks to the game plan. He schemed up points. He schemed up yardage. And, then the defense did their job, and they carried it. And I feel like I owe Adam Fuller a huge apology, because I've been dogging this defense ever since we hired that guy. I didn't give him a chance before we even hired him. It's like, I'm the guy that said, oh, we need a big time hire at defensive coordinator. Mike Norvell went with the safe hire, and I don't like it, and, I apologize. Not that they would ever see this video, but, if I ever, met Adam Fuller, I would apologize. So on to the Miami game. I will be at the Miami game. I'm really excited about it. I definitely think we're going to beat Miami. Miami's not a great football team right now, especially if Tyler Van Dyke plays, but I'll make a video a little later on, and I'll give more of a thought on how I think that'll go, because this video's already over 5 minutes, and I don't really like my videos to be over 4 or 5 minutes, because I just don't. So anyway, have a great day, everybody. Go Noles.